What exciting products do I have for you today? Well, I'll tell you in a second, but before I start, I would like to ask you to subscribe to the channel or just like the video or something like that. I don't usually ask people to engage in that way. It's just not something I'm that comfortable doing. It's probably to my detriment, really, but I am going to ask you in this case. So if you do like the video, then please do consider subscribing to the channel. And equally, if you'd like to support the channel, I'll put affiliate links for the product that I'm looking at today in the description too. So if you want to use those for anything that you buy on Amazon, that would be much appreciated. So today I'm looking at this. We're back with some DAB radio products today. This is the Majority Eversden. I'm not absolutely sure. It's a place in Cambridge. It's about 6 miles southwest of Cambridge. And I don't know whether it's pronounced Eversden or Eversden, but this is a Bluetooth shower radio. It's a DAB Plus FM and Bluetooth shower radio. So I was curious about this because the last thing I looked at from Majority was the cheapest DAB radio I could find. And while it did work, it didn't sound great, and the construction looked like an electronics project kit, the kind of kit that I used to use at school when I did electronics, and that was back in the 90s. So it was a bit of a strange device. But this one retails at considerably more. So this is about £42, or it is at time of recording. So I'm kind of hoping for better things. It looks like it's got a kind of nicer display on it and stuff. And the fact that it's IPX5 rated is good too. So while I unbox it, maybe. Well, before I unbox it, what else can I tell you about the product? Well, it's got a 15-hour battery life apparently, and it is rechargeable. It's not, I don't think. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's get into the box first and have a look at what we've got. So, yeah, apparently it's got a 3,000 milliamp hour lithium ion battery in this. So that's enough to last 15 hours of use, which can then be recharged. So that's pretty decent, if that's true. Right, that's one side. What I use in the bathroom at the moment is this radio. This is the Sony S41. And this is very handy because it's very slim and small. I can just tuck it on the side of the bath. But the problem is that I have to have this far enough away so it doesn't get covered in water. But then you have to have it so loud because with any kind of like decent shower or power shower, it's pretty noisy. You know, it's quite noisy in a shower. And you have to have this so loud to hear, even get the slightest chance of hearing anything of the music that's on it. It's not ideal. So that's why I was curious to see what the Majority offering was like. So there we go. We've got our user manual there. And it looks like it comes with an adapter. But yeah, as you can see from this, the recharging is unfortunately a barrel connector like this. It's not USB. So let's just have a look what the output is on this. So the output on this is 5.9 volts. I don't know if this will charge on 5 volts. So if you were to get a kind of USB to barrel connector like this, whether or not it would charge on USB, but that's a bit of a pain, right? I mean, having a rechargeable thing that isn't USB is just a pain, because that means that wherever I recharge this radio, I have to have this thing around. So I have to have a specific adapter, 5.9 volts. Weird. What a weird amount. I have to have this adapter available. Okay, fair enough. We'll let that go. And I'm guessing by the fact it's got like a little RF sort of suppressor thing on here, ferrite coil or whatever this is. What do you call that? I forget the name of them. The suppressors anyway. I imagine that the radio can also be used while charging, because this will stop the gunk getting down into the radio and ruining the reception. So the radio uses this thing, the rubber strap, as its antenna, which is a really good idea. I can imagine it impacts performance on FM a little bit, but other than that, I don't know if you can see that on there. It's got like a load of kind of grease all over it. But yeah, I can imagine it impacts its performance on FM, but I imagine something like that is a perfectly reasonable length for DAB. Okay, let's take this out. There we go. So yeah, I don't know, I'm not quite sure what this stuff is on the side of it. It's just a little bit kind of greasy or something. So this, I assume, just fits over here somehow. There we go, nice and simple. There we are. That's it. Looks like a little handbag, doesn't it? But it's got a really nice feel to it, actually. Really solid feel to it. I'm pretty impressed with the build quality on that. There's no kind of rattling parts or anything like that. It feels really nice in the hand. Right, so we've got nice rubberized controls. They feel really good, solid controls there. Scroll for play. I'm guessing these are Bluetooth controls, and to scroll, and there's a push there to select as well, which is nice. Seriously, this feels decent. Power, and of course all these are completely covered here because they need to be to have its IP rating. Oh, let me just talk for a minute about the IP rating. So this has an IP rating of IPX5, which means that this is rated for water ingress only, and it's kind of low pressure. It can handle, like, if you just maybe hit it with the shower or a few splashes of water. That's kind of what we're talking about here. We're not talking about holding a shower on it permanently or submerging it in any way. It's not designed for that, but it's perfectly fine to get wet. And just to stress, the first bit of the rating, so the X there in this case, the X of the X5 is for dust ingress. And just because it's got an X and doesn't actually have a number doesn't mean that it isn't protected against that in any way. It's just they haven't done the test for it. When they developed it, they probably just thought, well, we're not that interested in testing it for that. Down the side here, we've got a headphone out, which I believe is stereo, even though, of course, the speaker is just a single speaker, so it's mono. And then we've got our DC in there. So this is a waterproof sort of sealed port there as well. So let's power it up and just take a quick listen and see how it sounds. I hope it's got some charge in it. And I assume it's going to have to do a scan initially, which, given the number of lights and stuff I've got in here at the moment, I'm not sure how well it's going to do at picking stuff up, particularly with a slightly less than optimal antenna. But it's certainly picking something up, isn't it? All right, there we go. Yeah, it's picked up some stations. That's good.
While we take care of your claim. Oh, yes. Chill. Car must be undrivable. Comprehensive cover only. Onward travel to one UK destination. Excludes glass-only claims. Payment excludes weekends and bank holidays.
Excellent.
All 38 and 39-year-olds in England will be invited to book their coronavirus vaccinations from tomorrow morning. Booking will open on the NHS website at 7 o'clock. All under 40s and pregnant women will be offered the Pfizer or Moderna jabs as an alternative to the AstraZeneca vaccine.
All right, so that's Anthony Blinken. Well, joining me now is Ambassador Martin Indyk, the former US Special Envoy to the Israeli-Palestinian negotiations, served twice as ambassador to Israel. It's interesting, the US Defense Secretary has reported by Reuters as reiterating the US ironclad support for Israel. That's in a call with his Israeli counterpart, the Pentagon said.
Be honest. I can never die, I'm Chuck Norris. The government...
Can just stop for a minute and smile. Why is everybody so serious?
So in the menus there, full scan, manual tune, prune. Now the prune option on this, what that means is that it takes away stations that you can't pick up. So if there are any in the list that aren't, you can't actually listen to, it will take those out, and just makes it easier to kind of tune around, I think. System and full scan. So let's just go into system, time, alarm, sleep mode. Yeah, so this button on the top here, this one here, is really quite finicky. It's really, the scrolling is very, very precise on it. It's easy to kind of just go a little bit too far and skip to the next item. It's yes, it's kind of, see the way it's sort of just jumping around a little bit. That's, yeah, wow. God, see that? I'm not even. Okay, that's sort of annoying. And the only reason I say that is because if you're in the shower, you don't want to be kind of just messing about with, this. If you want to tune to something different, you don't really want to be having to get it wrong. You want a nice buttons like this, actually, but just with a little bit more of a definite clunk, clunk, clunk between each point on this. But anyway, it seems okay. Info-wise will be the usual stuff, so I'm just going to go out of the menu there and back into DAB and click on info, and then we've got all the usual stuff. Signal levels, type of music, multiplex frequency, how many signal errors there are, bit rate, 80 kilobits, and then the battery level, and the time, and the date. Usual stuff across the info on DAB radio there, and the display brightens there when brightens there when it's touched, and then dims down a little bit. And I think there is a dimmer option on here too. So let's try and get some. Let's try and get the Bluetooth side of it connected. So I'm just going to put that to one side. I've got my phone here, which I will. So I'll switch this to Bluetooth mode, and I think that's all I need to do. I will give it a try and see. Okay, so it's not coming up with anything at the moment. What am I doing wrong? Oh, there we go. Okay, so it's popped up at the bottom, the Majority Eversden, whatever they call it. And that's it. I've got the Bluetooth connected now. As you can see here, it says Bluetooth connected. We should be good to go now. Let's get into the Cloudbeats app. And we're in our YouTube folder here. And let's try again with Sunny Day. So that's at full volume at the moment, and it's fairly loud, and it handles it nicely too. Oh, one thing I've forgotten to look at, which I know some people will be curious about, is the FM side of it. I totally forgot about that. So let's just jump into that quickly and have a look. So Radio 4 is connecting fine.
Security to be able to fulfill that.
Yeah, I mean, for half volume, I can literally barely hear that.
Well, but you've been quoting, or your side, if you like, has quoted that example.
So let's switch to FM now and see how well we can pick up Radio 4 in here with this antenna. Oh, nice. Manual tune. Look at that. Manual tuning. Not amazing, is it? Okay, that's nothing because that's 95.35. Just continue scanning through here, see how it does. Okay, so it's found nothing. Nothing at all. Oh no, there we go. It's found classic. There we go. That's the first thing it's found. Okay. Let me just put that to one side. Let me just compare that to the FM reception on the Sony, because that could just be because we're in here. Okay, there we go. So
I
93
really
points.
don't see how going to pass this law that gives David Irving the right to go and claim his train.
94.3 there we've got on the Sony, coming in pretty well. There's a bit of crackle and stuff, I accept that from... I do like the fact that you can just literally tune manually like this and then press to scan if you want to. I think it's just because I like the idea of tuning a radio rather than just constantly having it scan. So I'm going to set this to 94.3 manually and see how it does.
Who was given rape threats and urination against her door was...
It's okay.
But you're conflating lots of interesting and important examples, all of which deserve investigation. But to be absolutely honest, I don't see how your law is going to change that culture. It's already against the law to urinate.
Great. Why do they have to be talking about urination during my video? Well, let's just power this up again. Goes back onto 94.3.
Queue of people arguing over their train fares in court, do we? Over I was invited and then de-invited, you know.
Okay, yeah. So I feel that the majority here has a disadvantage on the FM side because of this antenna, but it seems decent. In fact, overall, I'm really impressed by the reception of this radio. I thought it wouldn't be anywhere near as good, but the only thing to test now, really, as I say, is using it in the shower. Put this on Bluetooth mode because at least then I can play some music. YouTube copyright-free music while in the shower. That sounds like great fun, doesn't it? Right, needs to be a bit louder, I think. Let's get going. Feels like a porno now. Have a look at the radio now. Yeah, it's getting pretty wet. Anyway, I'll leave it for now. We'll see how we do. That's fine. I just turned it on to, I've just turned it on to Radio 4 now because I wanted to try the volume because I thought it might be a bit quiet. On the top two kind of volume settings, it is loud enough, so it's pretty good.
For us, for example, we have 230 seats. On a 2-metre rule, if it's single seats being sold, we can get 10 people in. And then if it's couples or 4 people, we're talking...
That'll do nicely. So I appreciate this has been quite a long video, and I understand that not everybody wants to see all the kind of rest of the stuff around me, messing around, unboxing things and trying things out and trying to get things connected. So I thought I'd just provide this quick summary of points at the end and a quick review, I suppose, of this Majority Eversden or Eversden radio, DAB and DAB Plus and FM radio. So I've kind of just thrown together a couple of notes here as to the good and bad points. So I'll start with the good points. Firstly, it's great build quality. Honestly, this thing is built, it feels wonderful in the hand, really nice kind of finish on it, no rattling parts, nothing. It just feels like a really solid product. The sound quality is excellent for the size. I mean, it's great. You could probably hear there in the test, in the comparisons between the S41 and the S61. It kind of sits between the two as far as the two Sony radios are concerned. Sorry to compare to those all the time, but they're kind of sort of the radios I've used quite a lot, and I just sort of know that they're good ones to test against. So good sound quality for the size of the radio. The reception on this is really, really good. It surprised me so much. I was expecting this to cause problems. This antenna. Is this an antenna? Really? Okay, but it works great, and the reception on this is as good as on DAB as any of my other radios. FM is not so good, but on DAB, absolutely brilliant, really good reception. And the Bluetooth is proven to be reliable and simple. Just select it in the mode, find it on your phone, connect it, and then it reconnects easily within a couple of seconds and makes it really, really clear by having it on the screen all the time to say when Bluetooth's connected. Nice and simple. And it's IPX5. It's water resistant. And I've proven that it's water resistant by using it in the shower and just, it came out absolutely fine. This is post-shower. Looks fine. I did wipe it down with a towel. I wouldn't expect to have to do that, but I did anyway. And water-resistant radio. This handle design, this whole idea of just having something you can just hang on whatever, wherever is a really nice idea, whether it be for out in the garden, a construction site, just, wherever you are, this kind of, ability to just hang it on something as well as place it on something is a really good design idea. And the price. £41.95 at time of purchase. For this, I think, is a perfectly reasonable price. I wasn't expecting too much from the Majority Radio because of my last experience with the cheapest one I could find, but this has proven to be something completely different, and I would highly recommend it. Okay, let's just quickly move on to the bad points, or the things I would change. They're not really bad points. They're just things I would change. Firstly, I would want a USB input on this. The idea of a 5.9 volt DC in barrel connector is a pain for me. Not to have, have to use that adapter is just a really real awkward thing. Make it USB, make it 5 volts, make it simple for everybody to charge. Change this control on the top, because this one here that adjusts the channel, the DAB station and adjusts the FM tuning and things like that, is really finicky. There's no definite kind of click points. I mean, you feel the clicks, but you sometimes get a response from it and sometimes don't. It's not very good, that control. The push side of it's great, and this one that doesn't have the push element feels exactly like that one should feel. It's got the volume one's got very definite sort of indents, if you like, and very definite points that I think you kind of have to feel it really to know what I mean. But yeah, they need to improve that control. It could have taller feet on it. This is only a really minor point because you could easily sort it out yourself just by going down to B&Q or ordering on Amazon some extra sort of bigger rubber feet. But I think it'd be nice to have just slightly taller feet on it so that when you use it in the bathroom, it's very, very clearly raised from the surface so it dries underneath and doesn't get all kind of festering stuff underneath if you happen to have it on the side of a bath or something like that. And it could be a little bit louder. It isn't terribly loud on certain stations, so of course other stations, they compress their audio in a way that makes it sound really loud, and it will come across louder on here. But if you listen to sort of talk radio, something like Radio 4 on this, BBC Radio 4 or some other talk station where they don't process their music quite so much, even on full volume, this isn't that loud, and could maybe in a sort of shower scenario, so if you're in the bathroom where it can be quite noisy, you could easily, the radio could get swamped by other sounds. Apart from that, I mean, it's pretty minor stuff, all that lot, isn't it? So I'm really impressed with it. It's the Majority Eversden Radio, DAB+, DAB and FM and Bluetooth radio. I'll put links in the description, as I mentioned, but thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.